Hello, Faith Mountain. We are meeting again a week later. We are having another living room, or let me say den. This is our den. We're having a living room / den chat with Sister Bertram. And the first week we had a chat with the moms and dads. The second week, Sister Bertram got really goofy, and it was all about the kids. Well, today I'd like to make it a family living room or den chat. And a week later, missing you even more. I don't even know if it's possible. It's just like the deepest desire is to be in church with all of you, worshiping with you, hugging you, looking you in the eye, and just being together. Just being together. I can't wait till it happens. Tonight, I want to talk about courage. Courage is a choice and the willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. It's a choice and the willingness. Courage. What does courage mean to you, and what does courage look like to you? I have a couple memories of my first experiences of choosing courage. And one was when I was just a little girl. And my sister was a couple years older than me. I was always really small for my age. I was always the shortest one in the class, everything. And I think I was like around 4 years old. My sister was about 6. We had a little girl that lived next door, and she was the same age as my sister. And they kind of towered over me. My sister and I were playing outside, and she was on her little bike, and the next door neighbor, the little girl, came up to her and pushed her off of the bike and took her bike away and started riding off with the bike. And my sister just fell off and was crying. And I was a couple years younger, and both of these girls were older than me, but I realized something's got to be done, and something's got to be done now. And as just a little 4-year-old, I went and I found the nearest something that would help me. It was a 2x4. And I went, picked it up, and ran to that little girl and just whopped her with this 2x4. I summoned all the courage I had because I was scared, but I knew this was auto theft right before my eyes. And my sister was down on the ground. So I mustered up all the courage. I knocked her off and returned the bike to my sister. And I remember just feeling so afraid, but knowing there's not an adult around. I've got to take care of this. My sister will never see her bike again. Anyway, that was like a time when at a small age, I had to have courage. And another time in my life when I was little that I remember my first times of really choosing courage. I was in the 4th grade, and I was always like little squirt in the class. And a boy from our church went to the same school and was in my class with me. His name was Pete Lawrence, and he was a big boy. And my dad had appointed Pete Lawrence to be my personal bodyguard and my protector. And believe me, Pete Lawrence took this title and position extremely seriously. And I was a very annoyed little 4th grader because everywhere I went, there is Pete Lawrence breathing down my shoulder, and he was just lurking everywhere. And it was quite dreadful for this little 4-year-old girl because I couldn't just go out and experience life. I had this burly 4th grader, Pete Lawrence, watching over me like a hawk. Well, Pete Lawrence never missed school, ever. He was there every day except for this one day. Except for the day that I really needed him. And there was another boy in our class. His name was Stuart Little. And that was his name, Stuart Little. He was tall and skinny, and he wore these high-top, skinny ankle tennis shoes, Converse, and skinny jeans before they were in style back in the day. And he had really greasy hair, and he wore glasses, and he could be really aggressive in a kind of nerdy, annoying way. And this day, the day that my bodyguard missed school. We were all in line. We were coming in from recess and we were all in a line. And to my utter dismay, disgust, I see Stuart Little standing. We were all in line. He was standing at the beginning of the line. And every girl that would pass by, he'd reach out and grab her and kiss her right on the lips. And I'm seeing this, and my little soul is starting to just shake, and I'm scared to death. And I see that the line's going, and these little girls that he's grabbing and kissing are crying and screaming, and it's before the Me Too movement. Anyway, and so he's getting by with all this. There's no teacher around, and I see that it's coming up. It's my turn really, really soon. And as he comes up to reach out and grab me, it's like his eyeballs are popping out of his head. He reaches out to grab me. And I remember thinking, this cannot happen. Where is Pete Lawrence when I need him? And I mustered up all the courage I could from my toes all the way up, and I reached back and I made a fist and I punched him as hard as I can right between the eyes, and his glasses fell off. And I remember I was shaking, and I ran past him and ran in the classroom. And I remember I was just shaking with adrenaline and immense relief. And this little fourth grader that day knew what real courage felt like. It was super duper a scary feeling, but at the same time, it felt so, so good. And, I was thinking about this little lesson on courage, and I thought, we've all had opportunities in our life. Some of you kids, I told that story because so you can relate to what courage means at that age. And from small children to teenagers all the way to adults, we all at some time or another, we have to choose courage. Courage is a choice. In Joshua 1:7, it says, be strong and very courageous. I think of people in the Bible that chose courage, like Abram. He left his homeland to follow the Lord. Moses, marching in before Pharaoh with God's demand to let my people go. Young David going out to meet mighty Goliath. Saul described him as just a boy. Imagine the courage it took to stand up to Goliath. God's approach to Joshua, who is about to take over in Moses' place. And God's first words to Joshua are about courage. 3 times in his address to Joshua, God repeats the challenge. Be strong and courageous. Courage is needed when the task is big and the task is immense. God says, in effect, call Israel together, cross the Jordan, conquer the cities, overcome the enemies, resist their gods. Yes, the enemies will be fearsome, but you must be courageous. Courage has always been a necessary quality among the people of God. Standing for righteousness in a society that accommodates itself to evil, it takes great, great courage. Spreading the true gospel of Jesus Christ in a culture that wants to say any religion will do, it takes great courage. Allegiance to Jesus Christ in a world that is often against him. Anti-God, anti-anything that has to do with God. It takes great courage. Paul's charge to his friends in Corinth applies to all of us. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be alert. Continue often against him. Be alert. Continue strong in the faith. Have courage and be strong. Have courage and be strong. Courage can take the form of so many things. It can be doing the right thing, even if it's difficult, or facing your fears with confidence and being brave. John 16:33 says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In the world, you have trouble and suffering, but take courage. In the world, you have trouble and suffering, but take courage because I have conquered the world. Paul's charge to his friends in Corinth, it applies to all of us. Be alert. Continue strong in the faith. Have courage and be strong. I want to say today, in this world, in this crisis that we're in, it's going to take great courage. Every day, because all these voices are speaking to you. I want you to control all the voices that you're listening to. Real courage knows which voices to ignore and which to obey. I want you to take courage today. I want you to be alert, be strong, be alert, take courage, because God has already conquered the world. It's a daily thing when you wake up to gird up the loins of your mind and say, today I will not be afraid. Today I choose faith over fear. Today I'm not going to listen to all the voices. I suggest turning off the news, especially certain news agencies, ones that just spew hate for God and want to make the church and religion look like unintelligent wackos. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to those voices. And certainly don't give them credibility and pass on their yucky innuendos and their agenda. But control what comes into your mind. Control what comes into your heart. Control what you hear. Because whatever comes in is going to come out. Whatever you take in is what you're going to give to others. So today, choose courage. Choose strength. Whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are a good report, gird up the loins of your mind. Tighten up what you think about. Speak life. Speak positiveness. Speak life. Speak everything that breathes and that thrives. That's what we've got to speak. Speak courage. And today, whatever it takes. Now, Sister Bertram, thank the Lord I got saved, because I could have turned into a little thug. 2x4s. But what if we can take that as moms and dads and as young people and children, that same little ounce of courage that has to come up from our toes, and what if we start approaching our life with that? Like, I know I'm on the winning side. I know that no matter what happens, if this is the end, if this is the beginning of the end, whatever it is, I trust God. I trust and believe in God. I trust that He has the whole world in His hands. He knows the number of hair we have on our head. He has them numbered. He has them accounted for. He so intimately knows us. He knows our name. He sings over us. He so loves us. That gives me peace. That gives me courage. And that's what every day when I wake up, that's what I want to grab. That's what I want to grab and stick in my heart. And that's what I want to come out of my mouth to my children, to my neighbors, to social media. If you're putting stuff out on social media, make sure it is edifying. Make sure it has complete trust in God. Make sure it's something that will encourage someone and be a light. Courage. Real courage. It's a choice. Today, Faith Mountain, choose courage. I love you. I hope that soon, I'm sure, very soon, we're going to be together again. And it's going to be a Holy Ghost party like never before. And I also want, in your mind, just think, these last few weeks, I want to make sure it changes me for the better. I don't want to ever look at my church the same way. I don't want to ever look at my privilege to assemble in the same way. I want it to be like a pearl of great price that I protect, this new appreciation. I don't want it to wear off in a week or two. When we can get back together, I don't want it to wear off. Choose courage. Choose life. Choose the positive. I love you, and I pray we'll see each other soon. I know we will.